Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the True Life. I'm sorry. Welcome back to the Mahalo Stars podcast. We're broadcasting on the Mahalo Stars network. And I have with me today a guest that I have been trying to get on the podcast for a while. We finally made it happen. We're going to be doing a series. The one and only, the CEO, the founder of Awake Ventures, Amit Rathorne, a visionary entrepreneur and investor navigating the ever-evolving landscape of digital economies with a fervent belief in the transformative power of technology. Amit champions the idea that software is not just consuming industries, but birthing a future where decentralization, community, and global market networks thrive. As a Lisper, he intricately understands how to beat the averages, embracing the enigmatic beauty of knowing nothing for those truly in the know. Amit, thanks for being here today, my friend. How are you?
I'm very good. And I had no idea you're going to read that out.
Surprise! I got you there. Look, I know your time's a little bit limited today, but I want to just give people a little bit of background on who you were before you became who you are today. Like there's a bit of a journey involved into understanding the attribution problem and stuff like that. So maybe give people a quick background on how you became the Awake Ventures and how that came to be.
Yeah, that's a long journey, I guess. But I started coding when I was not coding, but I found my first computer when I was 7, which was kind of early for me because I was in India in 1987. Didn't have any then. So it was just this really fortunate thing, that happened. Thanks to my dad, who was working for the government at the time and all that. So um, I had a computer in my room. It's crazy, back there. So from there to just getting into all types of tech to wanting to come to the mecca, which is Silicon Valley, right, where everything happens. I grew up in Bangalore, right, in India, and all of that happened, I guess, as I sort of continued to push through that. And first I moved to Chicago with a consulting firm, a very boutique software consulting management consulting firm, which was quite small at the time. So got to really learn and grow for a number of years, flying Monday to Thursday, across different cities in the US and industries, trading firms, hospitality companies, and all types of enterprises and corporate, workings were kind of needed to be understood so we can manage their software systems and all that stuff. And so that gave me a lot of insight into things. Now that I look back and I'm telling you, I'm seeing it, right? But
Right.
I didn't see it until I just said it, I suppose. But yeah, so continued from there to I was at Google very briefly before I ended up starting my first thing here in the Valley. This was 2000 and what is it now? 7, 8, like that. And yeah, from there, did a bunch of tech stuff, a lot of platform companies that increase conversion for other people. So we were powering, our tech was being used at companies like eBay, Groupon, Staples, big names, except Amazon, pretty much a lot of them. And, from there to think, we sold that company to Staples in like 10 years ago. And I thought they would be able to do great things together. I thought we could. I learned really, really closely how misalignment of people and companies creates, all the problems you see in big companies, right? And so from there to a couple more things, couple more large companies, large scale platform companies, and a lot of smaller investments and things to kind of really learn how you can make money as an entrepreneur and lose it as an angel mainly. That was the main learnings. And continue to build new things and be excited by tech and by entrepreneurship and all of that with a whole bunch of other things happening along the way, which had to do with people call it awakening. I also call it that. I guess it's called Awake VC. But for me, it's a very specific thing because what happened to me, I can express, and I call it awake because of specific meaning to that word that I have. but it's really at this point a venture studio that's looking to build out a way to create income for, I don't say jobs, although it says
Right.
jobs on my thing. It's really just a way to create income for, let's say, 100 million people within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, because we desperately are going to need that. People are saying it might be 500 million people or a billion people. I think it's probably everybody could use a
Right.
little bit extra, right, on the side.
Yep.
So this is really just allowing through, let's call it 10 million entrepreneurs that I want to reach, enabling them to build, really simply build, quickly build, rapidly build and deploy, uh, full internet platform companies that are fully powered by the latest in AI and the latest in fintech and the latest in absolutely everything you could imagine from a technology standpoint. But to me, the best technology is the one you can't see,
Yep.
right? Which doesn't say it's technology because it's so seamless, right? So Awake wants to create and is creating a world where you and I can sit here. Today, it's a little bit, we're still building the
Sure.
flux capacitor of it.
Yep. Yeah.
But so you can see the flux capacitor, but once the flux capacitor is built, you can't see it anymore because in operation, you can't see it, you know.
I
It's
do.
only when you're building it that you can see it. Because once it's running, it gets a life of its own. Then you can only see the fruits. You can't see the seed of the tree, right? But you can enjoy the fruits. So that's what we're doing here. We're building that, interconnected, interdimensional engine that already exists. It's called the internet, but it doesn't actually connect everybody
Right.
because every company and platform on the internet actually disconnects you from everybody else because it's a layer in the middle, right? Like Facebook is a platform in a kingdom of its own, and every big company is, and small company too, same thing, right? It's like a network of internetworking is what internet stands for, internetwork. So every network is its own little walled garden. So we've built something entirely different from the perspective of, the internetworking protocol and how everyone connects directly to each other with or without the internet, right? Directly.
Right.
I'm talking to you,
Yeah.
right? And an
Yep.
invisible internet, a magical invisible internet that made it so that when we did this, we capture both of us capture the value of this, and then maybe we broadcast it on YouTube or wherever. Maybe we keep it private in our own knowledge banks, right? But this shared knowledge and shared consciousness is for everybody.
Yep.
And so you plug in your wallet, and all the wallet does is it, you know, is part of what you're doing there because you're capturing the value, which is what I mean by stored values in a wallet. And when you want to redeem that value, you exchange it for things like money or goods and services and things like that, you know. So that's the underlying principle. And on this is complete automation and empowerment of the human element, which is the only part that you can't automate.
Yeah. In you've written a couple books, and in the current book you're writing, which everyone should check out, Beyond the Clouds, I think it has some really fascinating ideas in there. And as I was working my way through a few different chapters, you talk a little bit about how we can challenge the existing norms of online advertising and move away from this prepaid ad model. And like, I know that's a pretty big question to think about when you've already kind of touched upon the walled gardens or the platforms in which these giant megaliths are just extracting the revenue and the value from all the people actually doing the work. Not all the people, but a lot of people doing the work. Maybe you could explain to some of the people what the attrition problem is, and how Awake goes about trying to solve that problem, or not trying to, but actually doing it.
Yeah. So you see, there's a joke in marketing that is, it says, I think it goes like, 50% of marketing works. The problem is you don't know which 50%. Yeah.
Right.
And I like to say that, on the internet, the problem is that, you know, it's not that marketing doesn't work. It's like 1% of it works. You just don't know which 1%, you know. And what I mean by that is, does an ad work? I don't know, right? Do you see a billboard and do you somehow buy something? I don't know, right? How do I, as a business, you know, create ads, or how do I create content that knows that, that I know that is working or not working, right? Like, how do I know that, right? So I just keep doing what's not working and hope it works tomorrow, or should I keep changing it and testing it? And so, what is it that I'm testing then, right? I'm testing conversion, which means that I want to know if the message converted you from some possible buyer, or whatever friend and everything else, to a buyer. Otherwise, business is not meaningful. The word business means there's a customer. So if you became a customer, then I can say that my message worked. So therefore, I have to track, what is causing you to convert. So when an order comes in, I see, hey, George bought something, and I want to know now, why did he buy it, and should I tell him more of the same type of thing, or should I something? So now we track, what you can track today. So I have a Shopify store, and you've got your store running digital commerce. You see, oh, George came from a Facebook click, or George came from whatever,
Yep.
But do you ever buy something the first time you see it? Like, it's a new
Nope.
brand. Let's say it's a beautiful winery that I launch or whatever. Do you buy the wine bottle the first time you see it?
No.
Probably not. You need social proof. You see it again and again. And it's not just advertising push. Okay, advertising is, I'm paying for ads as a brand. It's like, that's the inefficiency. But let's say that people were sharing and I was sharing and I'm writing, and you can see it. You see it first time. Oh, that's interesting. Sally shared this thing on her feed and she went there to school. You maybe not even, maybe you click, you go to the thing, you're like, that's whatever, nice website. And then maybe a week later, you see it again. Somebody else has posted on TikTok about it, right? And maybe you do click on it, and then maybe you go there, maybe you don't. And then the third time, maybe you see someone else, and so on, right? And finally, suddenly, you're like, well, this is cool. I might, buy it. So the fact is, if this was paid dollars pushing those clicks, multiple clicks actually drove the sale. But every time the click is spent, you have no idea what happens next. All you know is that last thing happened and this click converted. And I have no idea that George was actually talking to three other people before that on these three different platforms, talking as in, following, say, a follower or a friend or whatever. And then, finally coming through and making a purchase. So I only know the last thing. Why? Because these things that are happening on Facebook and everywhere else, they don't share that with me, right? All I can see is that thing where somebody bought, and then I can, find out that they came from here, meaning that's called last click attribution, attributing the sale to the last click from where the buyer came. Because you can either do first click, maybe, right?
Yep.
Where if at all you know what you're doing. But last click is all that generally people know, they can track attribution wise. But that's not a fact, right? That's just because you can only see this little spot of like the parking lot. You search there, even though you lost the keys on that other side, because this is where the street lamp is,
Right.
right? Like, you can't see where else it's happening, so you track where you can see. So you're operating in blindness, basically. It's a dark web, the internet. So that's the problem. The fact of you cannot correctly attribute the sale to the multiple hops that it takes because sales is a contact sport. People are working together. Multiple salespeople talk to you in a fancy place. You may not buy it the first time in a suit shop or whatever you go for fitting. Then you may buy it in the mall in the second or third time. Multiple people drove the sale, but only the last person is credited, right? And so what happens when you have this model is that these people are, and everybody is pushing the sale because, hey, I have no other way to make money. I'm talking about when you have post-paid, not ads. Ads are anyway don't convert 99% of the time. So, but all the ads are really trying to do is to get you to buy, because either it's a one shot. You fire and you've lost the money, you've lost the sale, you've got no money now. There's no way to capture the value you created with half the sale.
Yeah.
But that's the 99% of the world. Only 1% is the sale. 99 clicks are happening. 1%. 99 clicks happen. Don't no sale. 1%. One click. one sale or two, whatever, 98%. What about the 98% of people that are also engaged in that, community, and you can't track them? That's the attribution problem.
Right. I got 99 clicks, but a sale ain't one.
If you're lucky,
Right.
because of the tracking of that one
Right.
click and sale is through cookies, third-party cookies,
Right.
and other weird ways of nefariously essentially tracking you in some way, because it's not first party, right? That's why it's third party, right, or second party. It's not first party, as in you, the person who might be credited, is not directly being is talking to the principal on the other side. Is some third party tools on the internet. You use this tool to track it or that tool to track it. It's not like the people are directly working together. It's this underlying mesh of like plumbing that's used to do these things, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if that doesn't work right, you may not even get paid, right? Cookies,
Absolutely.
for example.
Absolutely.
Right? So these are the problems of the internet. And the internet was meant to create prosperity and, global, all those things, economy and all that. So then what happened? So that's the thing we want to solve and have solved, because what's missing is a way for everyone to participate in that economy. And not just because you don't know, you get extracted from. It's like, it's like being a chump,
Yeah. Yeah. So using the Shoptype platform, like how do you fix that? Like you have built a system that is able to track that, or how can your mom use the Shoptype platform and get paid for it? Like
So
someone like
she's
our
got
mom,
all
you know what I
these,
mean? Yeah.
like you've got, everyone's mom's got WhatsApp groups, right? Where they're
Yes.
constantly, so you've got all these family groups, you've got all these
Right.
like friend groups, you've got the apartment, look at, neighborhood, or all these different groups, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm talking WhatsApp, but you can say Substack, you could say LinkedIn, you could say TikTok, you can say Instagram, you can say Facebook, you can say, any media network, everyone who's got an audience, right? Is always sharing audience for what? Either you say something with a quick text or whatever, or longer posts, or you publish it and then you see there your followers. This is what it's content, right? So everyone's sharing that content, and eventually, someone presumably buys something on the internet, right? So there's sharing going on the internet, and there's purchases going on the internet, right?
Yep.
And where you buy something, right, those people or whoever makes the purchase happen, that's the that's the attribution I was talking about, right? So it's in their interest to find out who are the people who helped this buyer buy. Whose interest is it in? Who's the first party whose interest it is in to solve this problem? It's not some abstract thing. It is specifically the one who wants to make more sales happen. Because if I, as a brand, want to make more sales happen for me, then it's in my best interest to what? Incentivize my sales force in a fair way.
Yep.
And to absolutely open the floodgates by saying, listen, no one needs to close the sale. Don't push anyone to buy, because to today's model, if you don't close the sale, you don't get paid. So all you're doing is buy, and you're pissing everybody off, sullying my brand. In fact, guess what? I don't even want to work with affiliate marketers for that reason, because they're gonna, try to shove my brand down everybody's throat, even though it's a well-known luxury brand. Let's say that nobody buys in the first time they see it. Frankly, they don't need to be pushed. They are ready to buy. You just have to continuously expose it. But if you do that, you don't get paid when they don't buy. So you wouldn't do that. You're going to try to push them. I don't want that. So I'm going to say, listen, nobody do that. No selling. Hashtag no selling. Why? Because I don't want you to sell. I only want you to do top of the funnel and mid funnel, which is the 99% of clicks. The one click happens. Don't worry about it. Because when that happens, we automatically track all the people in the chain because of whom George bought, whether it was on TikTok or wherever, and we'll pay them out of, let's say, retail dollars and distribution dollars. We'll pay them, let's say, out of 30% or more retail value, we'll split amongst, say, 3 people or 4 people. So my mom, what do I tell her? I said,
Yeah.
what? Just share. Continue to do what you're doing. Here's your wallet. Buy me something nice for Christmas. You know? What else do I tell her, right? She's not going to understand anything I said.
Right.
So I say, listen, just use this to share things. Right? That's
Yeah.
it. That's all. So it's in her best interest to share stuff from a place where she gets compensated correctly. So everybody's self-interest is into, capture the value that they've created and from the network that they've brought in, right? So
Yeah.
this automatically captures and monetizes that for everyone. And it's a network of networks, meaning it's a fractal. It's a crystalline structure. It's a graph of graphs, all of us interconnected, which it already is interconnected. You can say through the internet, but even otherwise, we're interconnected, right? So this is simply a reflection of that interconnection into a digital ledger that then extends it with AI and with all the other tools which, you know, people may need to build internet companies.
I think it's also important to note, like my mom or your mom may have you know, a special reason why you should buy this table. It fits perfectly in the corner and little Johnny is going to bump his head on. Moms have incredible insights that sell tables that they may not even know of. They could be influencing another mom in a different part of the country. But you and I, my mom, your mom, my little cousin, they are the real salespeople out there. And how many people right now could use a little bit of extra income for doing the exact same thing they're already doing and they like doing? Like, I think that is where the real game changing can happen. Like, people are already doing this. It's just that all the value is being captured up top and it's not being distributed to the people that are doing all the work on some level. That is a real game changer. I mean, like, that's the ability to bring 10,000 jobs to a community. That's the way to shorten supply chains in a way. And it's a way to fundamentally get us back to the internet instead of the platforms, man. It's mind-blowing to me.
It brings people back together in a way
Yes.
to co-create and become financially independent, by themselves. I mean, it's a
Yep.
self-starting, self-sustaining, regenerative platform that anyone can spin up. It's free to use. And it's not that I have no interest, it is also that we all win.
Yep.
Right? Everybody wins. This is what the internet was designed to
Right.
do. And as long as because I know that everyone's going to copy this down the line, right? It's not like there's going to be one TikTok only. There's like 25 of them, right? There's like
Right.
Twitter and TikTok and like Snapchat, and so just like there's a few commerce platforms and blockchains, we're also going to be a very very big internet infrastructure company. I have no desire to take on anybody,
Right.
but I do want to create these 100 million income streams for people because that's my interest. That's my interest. And the way I do that is by just like if somebody's interest is to sell the sales, what they should incentivize their sales was probably. We know that the jobs, 100 million jobs, will come through entrepreneurs like you and me.
Right.
And
Yep.
so, we have to, come and do this together. And so, we give away all the tech and we give away from ourselves. We're working with everybody and we all win together simply because if we don't all win together in the next, I would say 1 or 2, 3, 4 years, we're in an extremely ridiculously dark place from the idea that AI should somehow eliminate human beings from, having to do so-called labor without thought to how we're going to so-called having to make a living is not just you cannot live without making a living. How's that not a fallacy,
Yeah. Yeah. You had brought up another point when I was reading through the book and listening to some of your lectures is, why is the Mona Lisa worth so much money? In today's world, we have like everyone values, hey, look at AI, look at this computer, it's so great. But what about the human component, right? Maybe you can address that a little bit about, what is it? Do we need to rediscover the fundamental value of what it means to be human?
I mean, it's a simple test for that is, do you value human beings? Do you value people as people, right? Do we value everybody equally? Do we say, no, it depends, you know? So if you say it depends on something, then the answer is that you really don't value that a human being. You value those qualities about human beings, or anyone that shows those qualities, or an AI that shows those qualities are equally what you'll be looking for. Because being human is by itself a thing. It has no qualifications. So if you value people, you cannot have any qualifications. You know, it just by default is everybody. There is absolutely nobody that it leads out. You know, so that's how I see the whole thing. I mean, we have to create for the human side of this. I value myself, right? We all value ourselves. For what reason? Do I have some great redeeming qualities? You know, what if a better AI shows up? Do I, now say to myself, I should be fucked now? You know, I don't say that, but I say it about other people. If I say that my AI will replace them, who cares, right? It's not my problem. That's what entrepreneurs and capitalists and people do, which is to say that they don't value human beings, they only value themselves, right? So, yes, I do value human beings because I'm a human being.
Mm.
Either you're a human being that values human beings, or you're not a human being that values human beings, which makes you inhuman. So, yes, you must discover what it is to be human, and you must discover what humanity means. It means humanity is an abstract form of human, which is everybody. Humanity, all of it, not a human or that human, or which is a selfish type of thing.
Yeah, I think we could. I don't know if we have time to really get into too much of like. Maybe you could give a quick brushstroke on effective humanism. I know we only have like 10 minutes, but maybe we
Effective
could.
humanism. Yeah, it is just what I said, really, which
Right.
is this crazy debate in the Silicon Valley. You might have read recently about the OpenAI, debacle, etc., right? There was this whole
Yeah.
thing, and you might have read about effective altruism, which is this whole approach to investments, ESG, and
Mm-hmm.
all those things, SDG and all that stuff, which I think is great. I think is very important to at least have some track of what matters, right? It's absurd to say it'll just happen on its own. What happens is what you measure, right? That's a fact. Otherwise, it happens without you measuring it, right?
Yep.
Which is not
Right.
optimized. So, I mean, that's that. And then they come along this, this whole debacle where they kind of, whatever happened, I don't even want to get into it, I don't even know. But then it became all about, oh, that's not the way it should be, unfettered, techno capital. That's what it's called, you know, which is I mean, I'm a big fan of all the people I name now because you can see it on my on a VQC thing. I'm inspired by everybody, but
Yeah.
it's pushed by Elon. I think not Elon Musk, but like Andreessen and these people out there, right? Or even Elon, I think,
Sure.
about this whole effective acceleration thing, which is machines will figure this out and all that. AI will figure this out by itself. I mean, technological progress will figure itself out. You know, and I mean, if you ask again, do you need to rediscover humanity? The human, yourself as a human. What is not human, right? What is not human is the part that is, inert matter, not real, right? Like not a conscious part, like rock, or like inorganic matter, like matter. Matter is considered inert, So something artificial is not human, right? Obviously, right? Like it's a thing. Somebody made it,
Yeah.
right? So um, I mean, AI is a thing. It's not human. It's inhuman. It's not human, right? So yeah, I don't want to have something that's not human figure out humanity, right? I'd like humanity to figure out humanity, you know. And so I just say, look, forget about all these words. Like that's gonna figure it out, and that's gonna happen, and like all these things will happen because of this philosophy and that philosophy. I'm like what is effective humanism is just humanism, and really is just to figure out what human means, and that's about it. You stay in the definition of the word. If you love words, right, it means that which is human. Everything else is inhuman, right? So don't rely on inhuman objects and things and stuff, processes and bureaucracies and constructs to imagine that that'll solve it. That's the problem, actually.
It is the problem.
So effective humanism is simply a return to basics, that everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to live. You know, these are basic things. I mean, yeah, you have to rediscover that food is the most important thing. You have to rediscover that disease is not a good thing. You have to discover that hunger is not good. I mean, what is? I mean, you can call it rediscovery, maybe, right? But what is it? It's just going back to yourself, your true nature as a human being.
First principles. It's interesting how we find ourselves on this cyclical model. They say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, and it is interesting when here we are in this world of abundance, and so many people are starving. We're in this world of abundance, and so many people are suffering. I'm hopeful that technologies, that companies like Awake VC, Shoptype, Mahalo Star, that everybody is on the cusp of becoming their own brand and finding their own network and figuring out a way to have a win-win relationship with each other. There's no reason why we can't have that. And I think you're going to be a big part of it, man. I'm looking forward to the continuation of our series and getting to know the book better, getting to know you better, and getting to know the outreach that you're doing, not only with Mahalo Star, but the different groups out there, the multiple ventures that you're already involved in, how other people can reach out to you and get involved. And I know you told me before that you're coming up. You only have a little bit of time today, so I'm just going to give you the last 5 minutes here to maybe talk a little bit more, clean up anything you need to clean up, and tell people where they can find you, and if they're interested in this quick little blurb that we had today, how they can reach out to you.
I guess they could reach out through you.
Yes, of
right?
course.
Through
Of course.
through Mahalo Star and through Awake.vc, and I can be found on LinkedIn. And I think you'll find slowly a lot of people are getting involved, and we call them Awake Venture Partners, because everyone's a partner and everyone's building their own ventures now, right? With each other. I mean, together people are building, because that's the easiest way to build, right? Like with each other's help and everything else, and paying it forward, right? That's what it is, this whole thing. So happy to do that all day long. That's what we do. We build platform companies. Like I say to people, I can only give you what I have, right? To give you,
right?
And I have a platform to give you. You can have a platform for yourself, for your internet businesses, and your future of yourself, your growth, your place in the world, right? And to create some wealth for yourself and for your family and for your network and your community, right? That's what I can give you. It's a tool. I make these tools, like other people make other things. And there are some beautiful artists who make art, and woodworkers that make amazing, wardrobes. I make these tools, these platform tools that everybody can use on the internet. And they are for communities. If you have a community or you want to launch a community, you can quickly use this to build a sustainable, authentic brand, because a brand is a community that believes in it and shares it because they love it for its own sake and for what it stands for and what it means, not because they're getting paid for it. And the best person to promote your products is your customer, because they saw the value in what you have, and they paid you money for it, knowing fully well that they're paying more than what it cost you to make, right?
Yep.
So when you say to that, hey, we love you so much that we'd love for you to be a part of our family, we're happy to give you 20, 30%, 40%. And here's the thing, I don't want you to sell, because you're a customer. We value you as a customer.
Right.
We don't want you to be an affiliate. We want you to be a member of our community. And whenever you do share, and if something ever happens, you can make up to 30, 40. I don't say that that's how you make a living, but thank you very much for being a part of the family. Now you're part of the real family, and whatever else happens. If you do invite lots of people, then you make 5% of what they earn magically on the ledger. You don't have to do anything. You're just telling people like you're ordinary. You're telling people you're buying from us already, right? I mean, you're giving us your money. So, I mean, we're just sharing some of it back. We're saying this is how it works behind the scenes. Everyone in our employee network, in our founder network, in our shareholder network, in our well-wisher network, friends network, they all have an account with us, brand.com, mahalostar.com. And you also should have one. You do actually, you're a customer. And when you share anything from the website, we have a lot of our articles there, communities there, artists are there, people, we're inviting everyone to join and share and create, and everybody gets 20, 30, 40% of any profits, any, commissions, retail from the sale that happens. But, you don't even know who buys what, right? You have no idea. So that's why I say don't sell, because you don't know what people want. But you see what you want. Just share what you like. I mean, not even products, just articles, invite people to join us, because it's such a cool place. Mahalo Star. Become a Mahalo Star.
Yeah, right? Yeah. There's something to be said about a fair share network, and there's something to be said about a win-win situation. And most of all, I think there's something to be said about the future of currency is relationships. And I know we're coming up on the 11:55. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the first series. We're just going to start. We're going to start really getting into the idea of what's coming and what's being built and how everybody can benefit from it and be part of a community, a family that works together, that builds together, an entrepreneurial network where people can earn what they are by doing what they already do. So that's all we got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Come check out me if you're interested. Mahalo Star. Check out Amit over at Awake VC. There's a lot more to come, and that's all we got for today in this particular episode. I hope everybody has a beautiful day. Aloha.
Thank you.